He never expected her to be the one person who could break him open without even trying. She didn't raise her voice, she didn't play games, and she didn't chase him. She simply existed with a level of truth he wasn't used to. And that truth was the very force that shattered the ego he had spent years building. This is a psychological paradox. Carl Jung spoke about the way a man can be drawn back, again and again, to the woman who reveals the parts of himself he has been running from. And the strange thing is, even though she destroys his ego, he keeps returning as if something inside him refuses to let her go. Today, we explore Jung's hidden psychology behind this magnetic connection, why he runs, why he returns, and why her presence becomes the mirror he can't escape. Before we begin, make sure you stay until the end, because what you're about to hear may explain every confusing moment you've experienced in love, in silence, in distance, and in the tension between ego and the deeper self. And if you're new here, hit the subscribe button because you deserve real psychology, not surface-level theory. For more videos like this, visit the channel. He returns to the woman who destroys his ego because she awakens his unconscious. Jung always said that people do not meet by accident, they collide with purpose. Especially when one person carries the qualities the other represses. This woman often embodies the emotional honesty he avoids, the vulnerability he suppresses, and the growth he secretly desires but resists. She is not destructive. She is simply unfiltered, and her presence exposes what he hides from himself. This is why he feels both pulled toward her and threatened by her. His ego senses danger, but his deeper self senses transformation. And transformation is always louder. When she speaks, she doesn't decorate her meaning. She doesn't offer the kind of validation he is used to. She won't inflate his ego. She won't chase. She won't apologize for truths he refuses to face. Instead, she triggers the part of him that believes he needs to be admired, to be loved. She challenges that illusion, and this challenge creates a shock to his ego, the feeling that she is destroying him. But what Jung would say is very different. She is dissolving the persona he hides behind. The persona is the mask, the version of him he shows the world, and she sees right through it. He runs because this level of being seen is uncomfortable. Most people want love that confirms their image of themselves, not love that exposes it. Ego-driven love seeks admiration, but soul-driven love seeks truth, and truth is rarely gentle. The more she reflects his patterns back to him, the more his ego panics. So he creates distance, he leaves, he disconnects. But the strangest part is that every step he takes away from her pulls him deeper into the magnetic field between them. Because the moment he leaves, the truth becomes even louder. And the very things he thought he wanted from the world, attention, validation, admiration, suddenly feel hollow. No amount of external approval can match the intensity of the internal shift she triggered. This is where Jung's concept of the shadow comes in. The shadow is the part of him he denies: insecurity, fear, immaturity, emotional avoidance. She doesn't force him to face it. She simply activates it by being real. Her emotional clarity shines a light on his emotional confusion. She reveals his attachment wounds without saying a word. She reflects his insecurities when she refuses to play along with them. When he expects her to respond a certain way and she doesn't, he is confronted with the truth of who he actually is, not who he pretends to be. And confronting that truth feels like ego destruction. But here is the part people never talk about. The part Jung was very clear on. A man is drawn to the woman who awakens his shadow, not because she hurts him, but because she completes the psychological circle he has been running from. She forces an inner confrontation he desperately needs. Even if he doesn't consciously understand it, something inside him recognizes her as the catalyst for growth, and growth feels like destruction before it feels like evolution. His ego tries to survive, so he leaves. But his soul knows the truth, so he returns. He returns because she represents emotional gravity. She doesn't chase, and the absence of chase forces him to see his own patterns. She doesn't beg, and the lack of begging exposes his need for control. She doesn't collapse, and her emotional strength highlights his emotional avoidance. When she lets him go, it hits him. She isn't trying to win, She isn't trying to manipulate. She isn't trying to fix him. She is simply choosing peace. In the moment a woman chooses peace, a man is left alone with his truth. That isolation, that silence, that distance becomes the mirror he cannot escape. And this mirror brings him back. He goes out into the world, meets other people, talks to other women, fills his time with distractions, but nothing feels the same. Why? Because those interactions don't challenge his ego. They feed it. They don't reveal him. They flatter him. They don't push him. They soothe him. But she does something different. She pushes him into sprintness. She awakens his unconscious. She shows him that emotional connection is not about winning, controlling, or appearing strong. It's about sincerity, honesty, and presence. And that level of authenticity hits him deeper than anything else. He comes back because she makes him feel something real. Not perfect, not comfortable, not easy, but real. And realness is rare. Realness is unforgettable. Jung often said that the soul recognizes truth instantly, even if the ego tries to reject it. This is why he feels confusion when she is near and emptiness when she is gone. He doesn't understand how she affects him, so he frames it as ego destruction. But the truth is, she is dissolving the version of him that cannot sustain real love. He returns because she has emotional depth. Depth is magnetic, especially to a man who has lived on the surface for too long. Her depth makes him question his own patterns. Her emotional intelligence forces him to see where his emotional immaturity lies. Her boundaries show him how little he has established his own. Her strength highlights where he still clings to weakness. Her honesty cuts through his defenses. And her independence reveals how dependent he is on ego-driven validation. This is not destruction, it is awakening. But awakening is painful. He comes back not because she strokes his ego, but because she dissolves it. And the truth is, part of him wants that dissolution. Part of him is tired of pretending. Part of him is exhausted from carrying an identity that doesn't reflect who he truly is. She represents the version of love that requires emotional vulnerability, and while he fears it, he also craves it. The more he returns, the more he realizes that she is not trying to change him. She is not trying to make him someone new. She is revealing who he always was beneath the ego. A man returns to the woman who breaks his ego because she connects with the part of him he abandoned long ago, the authentic self. And the authentic self is always drawn to truth. As Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. She is the force that brings his unconscious to the surface. And even if he resists, he cannot deny the shift happening inside him. He returns because her energy feels like home and challenge at the same time. Home because she anchors him emotionally. Challenge because she pushes him psychologically. Home because she sees his soul. Challenge because she exposes his ego. Home because she feels genuine. Challenge because she demands honesty. This combination is rare, and once he experiences it, nothing else satisfies. He returns because losing her feels like losing a part of himself he never knew he needed. Her absence becomes clarity. Her silence becomes truth. Her distance becomes realization. Every time he tries to replace her, he is confronted with the same outcome. No one else matches her emotional frequency. No one else speaks to his inner world the way she does. And no one else reflects him with such accuracy. And the more he tries to deny it, the stronger the pull becomes. This is why Jung insisted that certain bonds are not accidental. They are psychological assignments. She is not his punishment. She is his mirror. Not his ego's enemy, but his soul's ally. Not the destroyer of his identity, but the guide toward his authentic self. He returns because growth requires discomfort. And she is the discomfort that leads to transformation. But here, as the part Jung would emphasize, she must never shrink herself to make him stay. If she lowers her standards, softens her boundaries, or feeds his ego just to keep him, the entire psychological dynamic collapses. He returns only because she stands firm in her truth. Her strength is the magnet. Her emotional clarity is the pull. Her refusal to tolerate his ego-driven behavior is what awakens him again and again. He returns because she refuses to break herself to to accommodate his ego. He returns because she embodies the love that requires him to rise. He returns because she holds the power he needs, not the comfort he wants. And he returns because she awakens the man he is meant to become. This is not ego destruction. This is ego transformation. And transformation always begins with a woman who sees him deeply. Stay until the next video. And for more powerful psychology insights, visit the channel.